Good morning, 6th class. How are you all? Hope you will be fine and doing well at your home. This is your history lesson, and in this lesson we are reading chapter 2, Ancient Egypt of the Pharaohs. So we start our lesson. Students, in previous lesson I told you about the short history of the Pharaohs and the importance of the river Nile. Today we will read about hieroglyph. So we start studying about hieroglyph. Students, what are hieroglyphs? Hieroglyph is a character used in a system of pictorial writing. A character used in a system of pictorial writing, particularly that form used on ancient Egyptian monuments. Hieroglyph symbols may represent the objects that they depict, but usually stand for particular sounds or groups of sounds. Clear, students? Hieroglyphs symbols may represent the objects that they depict, but usually stand for particular sounds or groups of sounds. Students, as we are talking about the ancient Egyptians, so in that era, the ancient Egyptians believed that it was important to record and communicate information about religion and government. Thus, they invented written scripts that could be used to record this information. The most famous of all ancient Egyptian scripts is hieroglyph. However, throughout 3,000 years of ancient Egyptian civilization, at least 3 other scripts were used for different purposes. Using these scripts, scribes were able to preserve the beliefs, history, and ideas of ancient Egypt in temple and tomb walls and on papyrus scrolls. So students, this is about hieroglyph. Now you have to open book page number 7 so that we will start reading and understand more about hieroglyphs. The Egyptians called hieroglyphs the words of God, as these were used primarily by the priests. These painstakingly drawn symbols were suitable for decorating the walls of temples too. Painstakingly, in a way that shows you have taken a lot of care or made a lot of effort. So these symbols were suitable for decorating the walls of temples because it took great effort to make those symbols. Hieroglyphs are written in rows or columns and can be read from left to right or from right to left. So these were that type of symbols that were written in rows or columns. We can say they were made in rows and columns and can be read from left to right or from right to left. The direction in which the text is to be read is defined by the direction of the human or animal figures that always face the beginning of the line. Defined, having a definite outline. So the direction had accurate outline, definite outline. The upper symbols are read before the lower ones. Egyptian civilization came to be known for its writing, as they wrote everything down and kept records. Students, as I told you in the beginning that Egyptian civilization was well-versed, well-known civilization, and they were very expert in everything. They had rules and regulations, so they wanted to keep records. For keeping records in history, they wanted to save them. For this purpose, they used papyrus as well as the temple and pyramid walls for writing. Papyrus is a material prepared in ancient Egypt from the pithy stem of water plant. At first, they used pictures known as hieroglyphics, but it took too long to write like that. So they created a new form of writing called demotic. Demotic denote or relate to the kind of language used by ordinary people. So they created a new form of writing called demotic, i.e. coming from the spoken language. Firstly, they thought that the medium of hieroglyph was too difficult to understand. It was too long to write. So they created a new form of writing that was called a common language, a kind of language that was used by ordinary people. Archaeologists discovered how to read demotic writing but could not read the hieroglyphs till the Rosetta Stone was discovered 200 years ago. Students, Rosetta Stone was discovered in Egypt. The stone is a broken part of a bigger stone slab. It had the same story written on it in Greek, demotic, and hieroglyphic. Scholars and experts thus managed to read the picture writing form and to decipher and hieroglyphics. Decipher, convert a text written in code into normal language. Students, the Rosetta Stone was found in the Egyptian village of Rashida near the Nile Delta in 1799 by French soldiers fighting there. It is now kept in the British Museum in London. It helped in deciphering the written language called hieroglyphic. Now come to page number 8. Here is about papyrus. Students, what is papyrus? Do you know? Students, papyrus is a material similar to thick paper that was used in ancient times as a writing surface. It was made from the pith of the papyrus plant that was on the bank of river Nile. Papyrus is a thin paper-like material produced from the pith, inner part of the papyrus plant, which grew in abundance in the Nile Delta of Egypt. Papyrus is first known to have been used in ancient Egypt, but it was also used throughout the Mediterranean region. Ancient Egyptians used this plant as a writing material and also for boats, mattresses, mats, rope, sandals, and baskets. So, this plant was very much important for the people of Egypt. They used this plant or material for boards, mattresses, mats, rope, sandals, and baskets. So it was very useful plant at that time. Papyrus was first manufactured in Egypt as far back as 3000 BCE. It is made from the stamp of the papyrus plant by cutting out the sticky, fibrous pith in long strips, soaking it, and then pressing it down and gluing it in 2 layers to make a thick paper. So this was the process how they used to make a thick paper by cutting and cutting out the sticky fibrous pits in the long strips, then soak it and then pressed it down and gluing it into layers, and the result was a thick paper. Its use in Egypt continued until it was replaced by more inexpensive paper introduced by Arabs. So, it had been used for a long time until another material or an other invention was introduced by Arabs. Understand, students? So, by reading about hieroglyph, we come to know that it was more convenient and more famous medium of writing at that time.